I am so excited for you guys to listen to this next episode. I'm going to be introducing one of my lifelong friends, Eden. If I could describe the perfect friend, it would be her. Starting this project, I was so nervous to put myself out there, and she has just been such a ride or die friend for me. So if you meet a good one, keep them, and hopefully they'll be your friend for life. I'm introducing everyone to my soul sister, Eden. This is Eden, the person sitting next to me. We actually are basically universally just related in a weird, I feel like I've known her my whole life and I've only known her for 2 years. It's really weird. But what's even weirder is how we met, which is
iconic.
I feel like you're just staring at me being like, what the fuck, Caroline? Where are you going with this?
No.
So basically, Eden and I were introduced right after I graduated. Eden's a year older than me. But it's one of those friendships that is...
a mom connection.
A mom connection, yes. But we were also brought together and we're like, how have I not known you my whole life? Because not only have Eden and I been parallel universes our whole lives up until this point where we finally met, but so were our mothers. And you can't really talk about Eden and me without talking about our moms.
So true.
So, okay, how do you even talk about our moms? Where do you start? What's the best way to describe the women that raised us?
They are powerhouses. That's the best way to describe both of them.
Yeah, they are.
Little background story on them. They used to work in the exact same building on Wilshire.
9255 Sunset Boulevard.
I said Wilshire. Sunset.
Yeah, thank you.
Sunset. And they would see each other in the elevator and they would just look at each other. And they would both know that they were kind of intense, powerful, very intellectual, smart, lovely people, but they never said hi.
But scared of each other.
Very scared of each other, very intimidated by one another. I think they would see each other in the parking lot and would see one another's names in the parking garage space. And so they knew who one another were, but they weren't really friends until the last 3 years almost. And
which, for context, my mom moved out of that building probably 6 years ago.
And we moved out of that building exactly 2 years ago.
So they had this stint of elevator knowing each other, being kind of who the fuck are you, but I'm kind of scared of you. In a good way, though. Right? Did they explain it in a good way? Were they
yeah, of course, they both looked at each other wow,
I'm
she's
scared
incredible,
to talk to you. I'm
but
scared to talk to you.
Yeah.
And not even gonna lie, I think the first time that you and I met too, we were kind of set up on a blind date with our moms and poor Eden's brother who had to sit there with us too. But I had that same feeling of oh my God, you're so confident and you know who you are and you're in this cute Zara set and I'm looking I don't know what I was looking like or doing.
You looked gorgeous.
Thank you. I get so uncomfortable when people say nice things. I'm but I had that same kind of feeling of oh, I really want to be friends with her. I want to get to know her. I'm very attracted to your personality. It's so inviting. But the weirdest thing is being from this city, you don't know if it's genuine. And I think my first thing was are you just being nice to me because we're at this dinner with our moms? Or are you genuinely a good person? And I think immediately I found that I found that to be true immediately when you and I actually started bonding. And for context, Eden is if you could write up all of the things that you would want in a good friend, that's Eden. And I think I'm being so it's so true. And it was recently her birthday and we were talking all of her friends. She has all these people from all over the universe. She has friends that are 65-year-old women. She has friends that are 16-year-old cute little little mentees, and then kind of all the college-y friends around our age. But every single person only has good things to say about this human being. And
So sweet.
I think I realized that once I was kind of out of college and ready to like, you know, invite good solid relationships into my life is when I met you, which was really coincidentally like right after I graduated. But you're the kind of friend where like if you're sick, like without hesitation, you like go get juice and you go get flowers, and it's like not a question. And that's like the craziest thing. And obviously it should be a given to like just show up for your friends and be solid. But like, I think for the first time I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like shocking.
Buying you flowers and buying you juice is very simple and easy
It's
task.
like the baseline, like easy thing. But I feel like when someone goes out of their way and thinks about you and like shows you with their actions, maybe that's just how I like perceive or like my love languages. But I think that was kind of the first like real realization of I was like, oh my gosh, like you weren't just being nice. You know what I mean? But anyways, to talk about our mothers and how this whole thing happened and why we're now sitting here and Eden is like literally like family. Basically, our moms got put in a political group chat.
Yes, where they could be their inner, you know, keyboard justice warrior selves and talk to other women and talk about different political candidates and different events that were going on in the city so that they can all be very active. And it happened in a time when, you know, COVID was really heightened. So having that community and that group from your bedroom was really positive.
Also, like being kind of that like kind of headstrong woman, it's hard to like, these are all women that are like just complete badass women. I mean, from what I've collected and met most of them, they're not kind of just, no offense, but like they're not just kind of like the stay at home, like going to Pilates and cleaning the house and doing the laundry, but they're doing all that. They're going to the Pilates and cleaning the laundry and the kid having kids, and then they're also like running shit. And I think it's really cool that they kind of, who knows how that happened, but seeing my mom kind of interact with other women, my mom specifically, I don't know about your mom, is very kind of just very like easily attracted to being friends with other men because she has this very kind of like headstrong, hardcore personality about her. And I've kind of found that about myself, other than the fact that I'm like a squishy, like sensitive baby sometimes, which is why I obviously kind of have friends that are very much like-minded. But being able to see her kind of interact with these other women was really cool for me to see.
Yeah, there's a quote that my grandma, who's 97, my mom's mom, always says, and it's, if you've got a task, give it to the busiest Hadassah woman you know. And Hadassah is an organization. It's kind of like the first hospital in Jerusalem. And for me, that's been embedded in both my mom and I's life, where, you know, you can't stop being productive. You can't stop doing things. You always want to be a part of things because the more you're a part of, the more you attract. And I really think that quote is really applicable to the one and only Ellen as well, who, you know, if you've got a task to get done, give it to Ellen, who also has a million other tasks to get done, but she'll get it done. And same goes for Sharona. They are part of this really eclectic group of women who all have their own shtick going. They all have, like Caroline mentioned, their own families, their own industry folks. They all live in different parts of the city. That's also one of the amazing things about everyone's bond, is everyone's kind of spread out. What's amazing about me and Caroline is we basically both grew up right around Larchmont and yet never really met until like 22 years later
kind of, like,
of life.
Parallel like relationship.
And we also both went to USC and didn't really know each other.
One of those things where like our moms knew who the other one was. They were in the elevator. They probably said hi, bye a couple times. You and I were in the same room probably more times than neither of us could count, and had no idea who the other one was until we were literally sat down at a table with our mothers, like forced to be friends. We're like, this is your kid, this is my kid, like go talk. And
my mom has this really crazy radar where I have multiple stories of her like finding friends for me. Like she's found one of my best friends in a bathroom at a college an hour away when we are looking at colleges.
What does that even mean, in a bathroom?
Like my mom and I got into a little argument when we were visiting Pitzer College back when I was like a junior in high school, and like I was like you go to the bathroom. I don't want to go with you. And she literally comes out of the bathroom and she's like, I have a new friend for you. And like, it's one of these girls who's one of my best friends. And so she just, long story short, she just always finds people that she just really sees how wonderful they are, like you, and just knows like, that's going to be a girl. That's going to be my daughter's sister for life. And I know that she hand selected you because she knew that would be valid
by
and
Sharona
true
herself. So obviously, at the end of the day, Eden and I met. We became very fast friends. We have all of these things in common. But I think the biggest thing about her and I and how we kind of ended up the way we ended up is having two women like we have raising us. And although they're in very different industries, they're very, very similar people. And that's also why they became such fast friends too. Once they were kind of really put in a room and they were like, go be friends. Like, you guys are meant to have become friends. And here's the moment for that. And I think for us, that was kind of the same thing where we kind of also can go to each other and talk about this stuff and mostly like say how lucky we are, but also kind of like, you know, there's a lot of positives and some
we share moments of frustration.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that we can together get through some of the and they're not real challenges, but just the normal challenges that mother and daughters face. And we both understand that our mothers have our best interest in mind while we are trying to also make decisions for our own lives. Yeah. And that's something that I would say is pretty difficult. I mean, I feel at times that I'll watch a lot of my friends and sometimes it feels like their moms are heavily involved in their lives.
Yeah.
And then other times it feels like their moms are not that involved at all in their decision-making processes. And I look at you and I look at me and it's like, I don't think we can even post anything on Instagram without potentially asking for permission.
Right.
I mean, at least that's my experience.
That is very much. I feel like I was like I was definitely like conditioned and PR trained growing up, but like at the same time,
for sure.
I've talked a bit on this podcast about the rebellious Caroline in high school and just kind of the kid that kind of wanted to do the opposite. And I'm looking back very thankful for that, because there were days where I like wanted to post a photo in a bathing suit because I thought I looked good. But like at the end of the day, for anyone on the outside, you know exactly why that person's doing that, for attention and for the wrong reasons. And so I'm very thankful that like that never happened, but also because my mom works in entertainment and her clients follow me on social media, and you don't want those people to look at that and be like, what? Why is your 16-year-old kid's ass out in this photo? Like, maybe not the best, you know? And that's also a reflection on the parent, which like in hindsight, I completely like understand and I'm thankful for. But also as a grown adult, I'm like, thank God I didn't do that and make that like image for myself.
I have a similar funny story. I remember back when we were in middle school, but like girls would get together and they would do photo shoots with their friends. And I was feeling like, I have no pictures of myself. And so I did this whole little photo shoot with my friends and had a sleepover at their house and ended up changing my profile picture and didn't ask for my mom's permission on, what photo she liked. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I woke up in the morning to 500 calls from her being like, take that photo down immediately. I'm getting calls from other people who are seeing it. Like, it's gotta go.
Yep.
And since then, since the age of 12, I mean, I really cannot post anything without her permission. But I think ultimately, as much as that moment was really challenging for me,
PTSD right now.
Challenging for me, I think like her validation at the end of the day also means the world to me.
Yeah.
And my mom has been around a lot of different experiences, and she herself has been an icon, and I think she gets it, and she gets what it is like to be in front of a camera, whether you are the muse of something or just in general in front of a camera. She gets the concept of, what it is putting yourself out there.
So when you say muse,
what do I mean?
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that and like how it also kind of
relates to the unrelatability of it all?
That, but also like how your mom has kind of accidentally touched many, many lives and impacted many, many lives.
Sure. Well, when my mom was 16, she was working at a clothing store on 3rd Street near the Grove. And one day a client of hers came in with a boyfriend of hers, not my mom's, but the client. And I guess he came back the following day and saw her and just was like, I think I'm in love with you. And my mom's like, what? Like she's, she says the story so funny, but she was like, I'm in love with my boyfriend Marty. And she's 16 years old from, yeshiva school. And she, in the natural ways that Sharona does, she befriended this man who was 9 years older than her. And within the year, she went to a band practice, and her next memory was driving home from that band practice being like, did I just hear a song with my name in it? And that was the birth of My Sharona, which ended up being #1 on the charts for 6 weeks in 1979. And when my mom eventually turned 18, the two of them ended up starting to date, and she traveled the world with the band. Okay, so
she was of legal age.
She was a legal age.
That's cute. I love that.
Yeah.
For the 70s?
Yeah.
He waited for her to turn 18?
Yeah.
Or is that what she told you?
I mean, she would go to see them play in concert with her boyfriend in the crowd, because she was 17 at the time and he was about 26.
Okay.
And then when she was 18 and the song was really starting to gain momentum, she broke up with the boyfriend, and she traveled the world with the band for 4.5 years. And when she got back to LA as a 22-year-old, she didn't really know what to do career-wise.
Interesting.
And she found herself in real estate just a few years later.
My Sharona real estate.
Yeah. But the song has touched a lot of people's lives. Nary a day goes by where it's not on the radio or
in a movie or in a coffee shop.
Or if I even say the name, someone's like, da 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 da. It's just kind of this incredible experience. And just the other day on Mother's Day, we went out to brunch. We had this sweetest 23-year-old hostess who saw my mom's name tag, which says Sharona, and she just started singing the song. And my mom's like, how do you know this song? Because it does, even in today's world, touch the lives of today's 23-year-olds when the song was published 45 years ago. And so
was she actually how do you know this song?
Yeah, she really asked. She really did ask, and she said it's one of my mom's favorite songs in the world. That's how crazy. This girl knew the song, and this girl was from Egypt. And it was just it's amazing. This is a song that has gone, it's beyond gone global. It was a huge hit, especially in Japan. I think there's this, I've read many articles about my mom and My Sharona, but there's this one funny story where I believe people thought in Japan the word Sharona meant penis.
Shut the fuck up.
That's the story there.
You're and that's it, period. So didn't you end up doing
Yes, I wrote an article for Variety.
Yeah, so how did that
So the 40-year anniversary was coming up for My Sharona, and to honor my mom, which I knew she would not do for herself, I took the initiative to draft my own essay, and I started emailing all the biggest kind of music publications, from Variety to Rolling Stones and a couple more, and Variety got back to me, and she allowed me to publish it on Variety as author. There was no other author on it. My name is by Eden Burkow on Variety. And this woman who's incredible and now is the editor of LA Mag, she submitted my article to a huge Los Angeles journalism award where I won second place for it.
Not shocking absolutely anyone, especially me. I think the thing that I keep hearing and is very kind of relatable to me is this pride for your mom and just the life that she's led. And I think I constantly find myself even when I meet new people, all I want to do is just talk about my mom and how proud I am of her, which is very interesting because it's almost this enigma that doesn't exist that I'm talking about, because when I'm with my mom, I'm just that's just my best friend. I'm annoying her half the time, and she's, but just it's very different than that person that I'm like putting on a pedestal and talking about to all of these people. And I'm like, she's just the coolest person, and she does like 3 workout classes in the morning and then goes and runs a company all day and then comes home and then she's a mom and then she has to read 15 scripts and answer quote unquote 200 emails, and then she'll watch a show that she like won't fully watch because she'll fall asleep in the middle of it, and it's just the whole thing again the next day. And
I think there are a lot of hardworking moms, but I've really not seen hardworking moms the way that you and I have such hardworking moms. I mean, they are so dedicated to their craft and dedicated to their clients and dedicated to their people, and it's such an inspiration to me, and I know I can speak on behalf of you. It really shows us that we need to be true and on top of our communication and really watch what we say, and
watch what we post.
even like coming into this today, my mom says to me, think before you talk, because that's just classic her, where she never ever wants to hurt her reputation in a negative way. Not that there's really she would ever hurt herself, but she's just mindful, and both of our moms really have taught us mindfulness, and it came out of their entertainment real estate careers, where they are dealing and they are really assisting some really high profile individuals.
But to add on to that statement, it took decades of them like pushing through doors and having to deal and like scratch and claw their way up to where they are now. And
especially in male dominated industries.
Exactly. I mean, it is completely shocking for a lot of people, especially me growing up. Like, I didn't fully understand it. A big thing for me growing up was like, it was very, very exciting when I got to go to my mom's office after school. And it was also very exciting when she would get to come to like my practices, because I do like the AYSO leagues, which are like the Beverly Hills like basketball leagues and soccer leagues and whatever. And I didn't completely understand why she wasn't coming every time to the practices. Like after school, some days she'd be at all of my games. She's like my biggest cheerleader ever. But there was this kind of like, why aren't you bringing me Capri Sun and buying me some nasty fatty food after practice? Or like, why aren't you bringing snacks today? Like, and and then I got to high school and I went to girls' school, and all of the girls in my class, like part of the reason why a lot of the girls were so nice to me is because they really admired my mom. And they, were like, you're so lucky that you have a mom like that, and she's so cool and she's gorgeous. And my mom's biggest, besides being an incredible mom and working her ass off, she also is so focused on health, and she's literally like addicted to working out. Like that's her like drug of choice.
That is not my mom's drug of choice.
Your Sharona would hate hearing you say that. Let's just pretend you didn't say that.
No, she doesn't like working out.
Okay, but the drug of anyways. Like she looks so good for her age, and like all of these girls in my school were like, your mom's so cool, and I was like, what the fuck? Like that's why I'm like, it's you don't connect the dots,
Right.
And I think around that time, when I also like, interned for her, which by the way, she literally threatened to fire me so many times.
My mom still threatens to fire me, and
I've
worked
with
her now for 2.5 years.
I actually don't think I did one script coverage the entire time I worked there, which like granted, like she totally should have fired me. But that was the first time I was actually able to see, okay, now I know what the girls in high school are talking about. Now I understand the soccer practice thing. And oh my God, my mom's at the end of this really long conference table, like leading talking about all these projects, and all these people are looking at her and what does she have to say.
I would piggyback off that and just say that the best way for, I don't know if I can like speak on your behalf when I say this, but like I think the best way for us to have gotten to know our moms was to have kind of worked with them.
Yeah.
And to really see how they do their life, because that is their livelihood, is their work, and how they are respected, and the things that they have to say when they do their work, and the opinions that they hold, people trust and value. And I've always known my mom to be extremely hardworking from morning till night, every single day. We've been on plenty of family vacations where and I wouldn't ever call it like a real interruption, but you know, we would take a little intermission so she could call those clients and deal with something that's thousands of miles away, and she was on top of it and caring. And now that I work with her and I see how people trust and value her opinion and even just want her thoughts in general, is so inspiring to me, because she has spent the last 40 plus years, 35 plus years in this career dedicated to it and dedicated to formulating an opinion that is extremely unique, insightful, and one that you almost don't know how you would live without. And when I was a kid and I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm gonna get a tattoo one day. And today I don't want a tattoo at all. But if I got a tattoo, I would tell my mom it would be, what would Sharona do? WWSD. And it would be a little like initial tattoo on my wrist.
Oh my God, I love that.
Because so many people always are like calling her for advice to just be like, what, Sharona, what would you do in this situation?
Should we just go get them?
No, I'm not getting a tattoo. I'm just not doing that.
That's so funny.
I'm not getting a tattoo.
I don't want a tattoo, by the way. That was a joke. But kind of like, interestingly enough, I actually went and did that and got a tattoo when I was 14. And I actually didn't go get a tattoo. I gave myself a tattoo. And it's a wave on my wrist. And
you still have
you
it?
can't even really see it.
What'd you do? Poke yourself?
I literally poked myself with a pen. And
You still have it now?
it's like one of those things where I'm going to just get it zapped off in 30 seconds. But like, it's a funny story until
No, you're telling me you used a pen on your hand and it's been there for 10 years.
Not a literal like ballpoint pen, but like I used the ink and a needle.
Oh, wow.
And made myself a tattoo because I like really wanted one. And I thought it'd be a really good idea. And I was also just in my rebellious phase in high school where I was like really trying to do all of the things that I knew I couldn't do because I don't know what I was trying to get. I don't know like what the goal was out of doing those things. But
Understood.
For whatever reason, I like did that.
Okay.
So it's funny that you actually
I never
didn't
even knew you had
but
that.
I have like a very small, very faint jailhouse tattoo, and it literally looks like I drew on myself with a pen, and I'm getting it removed obviously one day. But for now, it's completely horrifying. My mom hates it. My dad didn't even know it existed until the other day on Mother's Day. And
after 10 years?
He knew it was there,
so
but I think he forgot. I think he blocked it out of his memory. But something that's very interesting as well about my Sharona is that she's kind of also become like a second mom to me, and just the relationship that the four of us have has become so strong. And
like our family dinners where it's the four of us are some of the funniest.
It's insane.
Like I'm talking to Ellen like Ellen is my mother. Like if I just don't like something, I'm like, no. And
it's
I would usually just be like, no, thank you. But
yeah,
I feel this sense of comfort and like I am home.
Right.
I just feel home.
Right. And I think that's how, like, just how I feel with Sharona, how I feel with Eden, how my mom feels with Sharona, and how my mom feels with
you, me,
you,
right? All of us. They all feel like they feel like sisters.
Yeah.
And it's really cute because, you know, we also have brothers. So our
moms are a year apart.
Our moms get to be, you know, mothers of a son and a daughter, or mothers of
exactly
having a son and a daughter. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I do think that, you know, I recently did an episode actually where I talked about high school and kind of different things, and there have been a lot of points in this podcast where I've talked about things and I kind of go back and I go, should I have done that differently? Like situations where I've actually gotten myself into shit or I made a mistake and I'm like, should I have done that differently?
Yeah, but learning experience.
Exactly. So no. But the question is, do I wish I met Eden in elementary school and middle school and high school and college? Of course I do, because I wanted to have, you know, to have 20 more years of friendship with you. But at the same time, I'm
so happy when we met
at such a good point in our lives, because it was, first of all, right before I got a phone call of diagnosis. I think the first dinner that we had was like after I'd already found the bump above my collarbone, and I just remember like that was kind of the only thing that I could think about. But I do think that point in our lives we had kind of gone through enough of like being young women to like really be able to like show up as the friends that like I think we both need from each other and deserve.
Yeah.
And our moms too. I mean, who knows? Like, it's very interesting, like, to think what it would be like if they had been friends 25
all this time
years ago.
Yeah.
And I do think that like when I think about that, when I say that out loud, like what it would have been like to be friends with you, I already think about all these times where I definitely felt really alone and really misunderstood, and I just wanted these solid people around.
You will never feel misunderstood ever again.
And I won't, because yeah, I mean, you get to a point where you kind of like really decide what standards you're looking for in people. And
for sure,
I think the more work you do inward and the more time you focus on like yourself and the things that you can be doing better as a friend and as a person, like you will attract those people in your life, even if it's through your mom, even if your mom sets you up on a friend date. And you meet Eden.
And I think those are the kind of best type of dates out there.
Yeah, seriously. Something about our moms that Eden and I talk about a lot is the fact that they kind of internalize their emotions. It's not like outward. And Eden and I are both very like, if you're sad, say it. If you're happy, say it. If you need to cry, call someone on the phone and cry. And I don't think I've seen my mom cry. And I think the only time she cried was when her mom passed away. And I was such a little shit of a kid that I was like, can you please not cry? I don't want to see you cry. I didn't really understand the gravity. I was 8 years old, so please don't come for me. But that is kind of the thing that I'm really thankful for, is the fact that you and I have this kind of hardness to us and backbone and zero tolerance for like bullshit. But we know that unlike our moms are very, very sensitive.
Yeah, we know that being vulnerable with emotions is important. And it's not to say that they're not emotional people. Like, they very much are. They're extremely actually sensitive, and they, if anything, want the very, very best for us. Yeah. But they do it in a way where if they were to present emotions about decisions for our lives, then we would feel probably more shaky about our own decisions. And it's because of their strength and their resilience from every single situation that they've ever been in, different forms of, rejection or just things not working out, that has made, in those moments, not having emotions incredibly important to watch, because it just shows the strength and diligence that goes into having a practical head on your shoulders. And I think for me and for you, like, we want to live our lives in such a similar manner and yet have intense emotions about things, and we are willing to cry and say this is fucked up and this is really bothering us right now, or we can be very excited about situations or vent. Like, we do spend our time sometimes venting. A lot of time. And I don't know if I've ever really heard my mom vent, which is like amazing. Like, she just doesn't either need to get it off her chest, or she just, like you mentioned, like, bottles it up inside. But
I think it's just a different generation and culture as well, of just kind of like, we don't really talk about it, we kind of just keep it moving. And I'm one of those people where it's like, I stubbed my toe and I need every single fucking person I know to know that it hurts, and that I've now put hydrogen peroxide, Neosporin, and a Band-Aid.
Yeah, my mom doesn't complain about anything. Fully. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly,
it's not relatable at all.
seeing someone like my mom that's worked in talent management and has helped so many people's careers take off and get them so far, and those people turn around and are like, yeah, I don't need you anymore, is so upsetting for me. And I think the fact that she's handled it so gracefully, so many, just on those occasions, or just in general, Hollywood's full of sharks, but being able to see her handle things that way, I mean, the few very, very, very minor cuts that I've kind of endured in my very kind of beginnings of my career, I feel like I've also kind of been able to handle it with grace and look at kind of the positive sides of negative situations because of her. So I do think that those things and that the way that she's handled things has taught me how to handle my life and these situations, that like, you're going to everything's not going to be sunshine and roses. But at the same time, like, I do think that I'm kind of using the lessons that I'm learning and trying to figure out where I fit into that equation of like, she has her way of handling things, but I'm also the kind of person where like, I need closure. I need to tell someone why it made me feel like shit.
But in terms of, future unrelatableness with our mothers, I think we're going to continue to watch them be very hardworking. I don't ever foresee my mother retiring by any means. I think once she retires, she's just not. It's synonymous with her identity. But I think that in itself is really something that is completely unrelatable. I mean, the woman is going a million miles per hour. She's everywhere all at once. That movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, is literally was such a deep movie for me. And I just cried because it really reminded me of how my mom is kind of a part of every little facet of my identity. And it's very inspiring to me. And I think she and her friendship with Ellen is what inspires me to be such a good friend, because even though they've only known each other kind of for such a short amount of time, it's the history of just knowing of one another that has developed into this strong bond where they think about each other. When one of them isn't feeling well, they drop something off for each other. They're extremely caring and thoughtful, and they lead their lives with integrity. And I think that as long as they, are devoted to us, they will be devoted to their work. And that's something I know that I'm going to take on with my life, is I'm already devoted to all the things that I have in motion. You're devoted to all the things that you have in motion.
Very much. But I think something that people our age that didn't kind of grow up the same way that we did don't fully understand is the reason why, and I could probably speak for you when I say this, but correct me if I'm wrong, is the reason why Eden and I are so hard just in it with our work is because it's like passion, and it's like love, it's like we're so passionate and excited about the things that we do that it almost becomes, and
that's because we watch our moms do what they love to do every single day. Totally. Anytime they're making a work call, even if it's not the best work call of all time, they're doing it because it's in the field of what they love to do, and it teaches us our own resilience and our own abilities to stay devoted and to always follow up on what it is that we love to do.
And I mean, even going through the health crisis that I went through right out of college, I think I became very, very close to Sharona very quickly, because Sharona also went through stage 4 colon cancer, pregnant with Adam, right? Your brother.
She had just been, I think she got diagnosed right when he was born, so it meant that she had it during.
So having her kind of, right after I got that phone call and I talked to my dad, I mean, it was like I'm showing up at my parents' house and Sharona's there with fruit and is like giving me a hug, and Eden's dropping every other day. I get back home to my house that same day to flowers from Eden, and she wrote Caroline Goldsmith Vane, which is not my name. It's actually Caroline Vane. But just for context and how much we knew each other at that time. But it just, the people that show up for you in those times, and it really, it just gave me such hope in the relationships too, and really kind of knowing like I'm around good people and I'm on the right path for myself. And I think that having those people and having you and your mom through that experience was like incredible, and being able to talk to Eden's mom, who went through something insane and came out on the other side, and she wouldn't even be able to know by looking at her that she went through that. And it's just completely incredible. And on top of that, just doing her thing, being a mom, getting the shit done. I mean, like, you wouldn't even know that she had a chip on her shoulder, let alone stage 4 colon cancer.
My mom was the type where she told everyone in the temple, that's where I had gone to elementary school, to never mention a word about what she was going through to the children. And I didn't even find out until I was 13 years old and was at a doctor's appointment that she had gone through that for 5 years, from when I was 4 to 9. And that kind of just goes to show how much my mom, your mom, they've been there to protect us. They wanted us to have a very innocent, beautiful, loving childhood, as close to perfect as it could possibly be.
Yep.
And they continue to do that. They continue to really, in a beautiful way, shelter us from the hardships of life, but sometimes we cannot get around those.
Of course not. I mean, some things come out at you like a curveball, but I am very, very, very lucky and thankful for the way I was raised, and I think about it all the time. And like I said, I meet a new person and I somehow end up talking about how proud I am of my mom, which is like probably for some people very strange, but if you know me and you know why I think those things, that's kind of I
think I'm the same. We love you, Mom. Both
love
moms.
you, moms. And thank you everyone for listening to this.
Give your mom a hug.
Give your mother a hug. And guess what? If you don't have a mom, then give your friend a hug. Give your cat a hug. Give your mentor a hug. Give
someone a hug.
Even if it's yourself.
Sometimes I think I forget to hug my mom.
Really? I'm such a hugger. I love hugs. But
I forgot to hug her.
Also, another thing that I've learned recently is when I'm sad, I hug myself. And it's like
beautiful.
the best feeling ever, because I'm just like, I'm here to support myself. It sounds like really lame, but it's actually really it's actually really nice.
It is nice.
You just hug yourself and you hug your friends. But yeah, we're very, very, very thankful for how we grew up, and it's very unrelatable. It's not a normal thing. It brought us together, and definitely inspires us to, if we have daughters one
live
day,
our lives to the fullest.
Raise them like our mothers raised us, but with a touch of extra emotion. Well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Eden.
Love you.
You'll see Eden's face again. She's one of my ride or dies, and I thought this would be the best way to bring Eden into this unrelatable world.
Love you.
Bad date, can't relate, everything is going great. Makeup on my mirror. Life sucks, all shucks, I feel like $1,000,000. Plug my ears to hear ya.